Hey guys, welcome back. As I was going through the comments for my subscribers choose my makeup video, I came across a little comment from Hannah Jones. Sorry, I had to double check. And she basically said that I should do a subscribers choose my makeup haul where I basically take your favorite products, I buy them, and then I put them on my face. So you may have noticed that on my social media, especially on Twitter, I've been asking you guys what your favorite makeup products are in different categories, and I have basically been like taking notes for the past few days. And let me tell you, you guys made me spend way too much money. I went to Sephora and I did a little shopping spree. I also went to MAC and the drugstore. I'm gonna be giving you guys my first impressions on your favorites. Without further ado, I cannot wait to show you guys all the products that I got, so let's get into it. So let's first start off with a primer. Now I did buy two primers, but I feel like they do pretty different things, so I feel like I could still use both of them, which is great. So the first primer that I bought was off of the recommendation of Mary from Twitter, and she says that the Ordinary High Adherence Silicone Primer gives a really smooth surface while also covering pores. So thank you so much, Mary, for pushing me to buy my first The Ordinary product because you guys have been really wanting me to try this brand and give you my opinion on it, but I just haven't jumped into it. I find the brand to be a little bit intimidating and I just don't really know where to start. So I'm really happy that Mary gave me a suggestion for my first The Ordinary product. Now the next primer that I got is more of like a moisturizing primer, which you guys know are some of my favorite types of primers, and this one is from Bobbi Brown, and I've actually never heard of it, which is what really initially intrigued me when I saw the tweet from Aya, who was the one who tweeted me about this product. This is the Illuminating Moisture Balm. Now, what intrigued me the most is that Aya said that this really helps with her dry skin because it's illuminating and it's hydrating, and she could wear it with and without makeup. Now, the only downside to this product is that it's expensive AF. Like, this was $100. Aya seemed to be really into it, so I really hope that I am too. So because the Bobbi Brown Illuminating Moisture Balm is more of like a moisturizer, I think I'm gonna apply this one first and then the silicone primer right on top of that. So it comes in a nice little pump, which I always appreciate. Smells expensive. So the product itself actually has a little bit of a sheen to it, and it feels really thick and hydrating, so my skin is ready. I'm just gonna massage it into my face. Even though it has a little bit of like a heavier feel to it, it does just like really sink into the skin. My skin doesn't feel greasy, but it does feel really nice and hydrated. I don't know if it's worth the $100 just yet. I feel like I'm gonna have to try this out a little bit more, but thank you so much, Aya, for introducing me to this new product. So now it's time to try out the Ordinary primer. So here's what it looks like. It's not clear. It has a little bit of like a white tint to it. Ooh, that's sort of weird. It feels sort of like a moisturizer, but with an extra bit of like slip to it. Like, you could definitely feel that silicone, but this is very unlike any other silicone based primer that I've used. It feels very interesting. I really like it. It feels like super silky. So I'm just going to sort of push it into my skin. I typically do not like silicone based primers because I find that they pill on my skin, but I feel like this will not do it because it is a little bit more of like a moisturizer texture, but it really does feel very smoothing. Oh man, this is a cool product. So the next category is, of course, foundation. Now this was a fairly easy category for me to choose which products I was going to buy because you guys seem to be really on the same boat, and I kept on seeing the same three foundations suggested over and over again. The first one that was very highly suggested are the Maybelline Fit Me foundations. Now, believe it or not, I've actually never tried any of the Maybelline Fit Me foundations. Now, they do have three different kinds of the Fit Me foundations. I believe they have the stick, they have the matte and poreless, which is meant for people who have more of like an oilier skin type, and then they have the hydrate and smooth, which is the one that I got, and this one is meant for more of a drier skin type. We're definitely going to be using this one today, but I did also buy two other foundations that I just kept on seeing you guys recommend to me over and over, and I'm definitely going to be trying these out like at a later date. The first one is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place Makeup, and then the third foundation that I got is this Dior Skin Forever foundation. Also had somebody say that they love the combination of both of these together, so I am really looking forward to trying these out. But for today, we are definitely going to be using the Maybelline Fit Me. So I got the shade 120 Classic Ivory. I'm really hoping this is going to match me. So now I'm just going to dot this all over my face. So I'm going to just take my sponge and start to bounce it into my skin. How has it taken me so long to try this foundation? I don't understand. Holy shit. I don't know if it's because of the primers that I used or if this foundation just is really, really nice, but I really, really love the way this is looking on my skin. It does not look cakey, it doesn't look heavy, it looks so nice and natural, and it sort of just made my skin look nice and even without it looking like I'm wearing a ton of makeup. But it really did cover up like all of my redness, and I love how dewy it looks. So now that the primer and the foundation is down, it's time to move on to the concealer. And for the concealer today, we are going to be using the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. Now, I got the same type of response for this that I got for the Maybelline Fit Me Foundation. You guys went crazy for this concealer. Now, I have used this concealer before, but a very, very long time ago, and I don't really remember my thoughts on it. So I'm just gonna apply some underneath my eyes. Oh, it's a little bit yellow. Why did I get such a dark shade? I'm definitely gonna have to fix that, but I will blend this out and still tell you guys my thoughts on the formula. So I'm just gonna blend that out with my beauty blender. This actually reminds me a lot of the L'Oreal Pro Glow Concealer. It has that same very lightweight finish, and it looks really, really nice and like hydrating. It does look a little bit too yellow, so I am gonna layer a little bit of a different concealer on top of it just to sort of like neutralize things a little bit so that I don't ruin the whole entire look. So I'm gonna do that and I'll be right back. Okay, we are neutralized. My under eyes don't look crazy and yellow anymore. So now let's move on to powder. So the powder that I bought wasn't necessarily a very like popular recommendation. I actually only had one person recommend this to me, but the reason why I wanted to pick it up was because I really have not heard anybody talk about this product, and it is the Sephora Micro Smooth Baked Face Compact. And this suggestion comes from Instagram from Sarah Gimli, and Sarah actually really sold me on this product, and she says that she loves this for setting, and she uses a puff to set her under eyes as well as her nose area where her glasses go, and then she uses a fluffy brush for the rest of her face. And this one is in the shade Light. So I'm first going to take a fluffy powder brush, and I'm just going to use this first to set my actual face. So I'm just going to lightly pat that into my skin. Okay, I'm also just gonna really quickly set my under eyes with the same brush. First impressions on this powder, I freaking love it. I can't even believe how great this is going so far. You guys honestly have the best recommendations because this powder looks amazing. I really like that this took away most of the shine on my face, but it didn't leave me completely matte. And I also love how lightweight this looks. Like, I do not even see it on my skin. It looks great underneath my eyes, looks great on the majority of my face. Obviously got to use this a little bit more, but I am definitely putting this in my vanity, and I think that this has the potential to be a new favorite to set the face. Sarah, you to MVP. So next, let's move on to bronzer because I really want to bronze on my face. Now, a lot of you guys were recommending to me the new Becca bronzer, specifically in the shade Capri Coast. I got that recommendation from Hannah from Twitter, from Stephanie on Instagram, as well as from Some Laughter, who is also from Instagram. Now, I have seen these in Sephora, but I have yet to try them out because, to be honest with you, they scare me a little bit. They seem to be really, really shimmery, and I don't usually love a very shimmery bronzer, but I am very much willing to step outside of my comfort zone for you guys. So I'm going to just take my Sephora powder brush, this is number 59, and I'm gonna just start to bronze on my face. So far, so good. Okay, first impressions as I'm applying it. I love, love, love this color. It's really warming up my skin nicely, but it's not looking muddy or too orange or too warm. That is so weird. You really barely even see the shimmer once it's actually applied to the skin. I am relieved. So I'm just applying it on my cheekbones, my temples, my hairlines, and on my jawline and down my neck, all the usual places. Becca powders are really pretty. They're very, very finely milled, but sometimes because they are so finely milled, a lot of their powders are very powdery, which means that when you put them on your brush and then you go in and put it on your skin, you could sometimes end up with a little bit of like an over application, and it could look a little bit messy and patchy. And I feel like that's the case, especially with their blushes. However, with the bronzer, I don't find that it's overly powdery. Like when I put my brush in here, there's not a ton of powder kickoff, which means that when I apply it to my skin, it won't apply too much product. The shimmer that I was scared of actually didn't even really show up on my skin. I feel feel like it just gave the bronzer a little bit of an extra golden glow. So next, let's move on to blush. And one of the blush comments that really stood out to me was a recommendation from Danielle, also from Twitter. And Danielle said that her favorite blush is MAC Modern Mandarin because it gives a really pretty orange flush. And that intrigued me for two reasons. I have never heard of Modern Mandarin, and I was really interested in seeing what it looked like. And second of all, I am really into orange blushes. It sort of gives your cheeks a little bit of like a bronzier hue. And like I expected, it is a soft orangey shade, and it is also completely matte. So I'm going to use my NYX Dual Fiber Blush Brush. And what I like about the shade is that it's not like just in your face, bright, hot orange. It has a little bit of like a coral peach sort of undertone to it, which I think is what makes it actually quite wearable. So let's move on now to the highlighter. Now I actually went to Snapchat and asked you guys to give me some recommendations for your favorite highlighters. And the snap that I got actually featured the Colourpop Electric Slide highlighter, and she used it up. Like there was literally no more product left.
It's called Electric Slide, and it's my ultimate favorite. As you can see, I'm almost out of it.
I actually already had Electric Slide in my collection, and I also got another Colourpop highlighter recommendation from Alicia on Twitter. She says to use Colourpop Flexitarian, which I also already had in my collection. Now mine is a little bit destroyed. When I received it in the box, it was all cracked and crumbly, but I have actually not yet used this, so I am going to use it in combination with Electric Slide. This is Flexitarian. I'm always so impressed with Colourpop highlighters. They're really beautiful and very inexpensive. Okay, this definitely gives you a really pretty glow. What I really like about Colourpop highlighters personally is that even though they do give you a fairly intense glow, I mean, as you guys can see, like, we are glowing, it still looks quite, I don't want to say natural, but it's still more of like a wearable highlighter because they're not glittery or chunky or too metallic. Okay, now I'm gonna go into Electric Slide. So excited to finally be using this shade. So I'm gonna smile and sort of just like pop it on my cheeks. And now it's going to give my cheeks a little bit of that golden glow, and it's really going to complement that orange blush. So as for the eyeshadow, the most requested eyeshadow palette by far, like there was not even a question, was the Anastasia Modern Renaissance. I got an overwhelming response on Twitter and on Instagram. You guys love the Anastasia Modern Renaissance, and I do not blame you because I love it too. So before I start off the eye look, I want to sort of give you guys my game plan because we're also going to be using some eyeliners. And when I asked you guys what your favorite eyeliners were, I got a lot of people recommending the Marc Jacobs highliners. So for the look today, I'm thinking of doing just like a really simple one color smoky look with the shade Realgar from the Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette. And then I think I'm gonna put Marigold, which is this gold shade, on my lower lash line and have like a nice pop of gold there. I'm first gonna go in with the shade Golden Ochre, which is this one right over here. This is a really great transition shade. And on my Morphe M504, I'm just gonna sweep this above my crease. And this is, like I said, going to be our transition shade. It's gonna be such an easy eye look. So I'm going to go into a more precise blending brush, and I'm going to go into the shade Burnt Orange and a little bit of Raw Sienna. I'm going to put that more into my crease. So now I'm going to take my flat shader brush and go into Realgar, which is that burnt orange shade, and I'm just going to pack that all over the lid. So now I'm taking my Marc Jacobs eyeliner in the shade Marigold, and I'm going to just really heavily line my lower lash line with this. And now I'm going to take the matte brown. This is not going to be the most excited use for this, but I do want to use it a little bit. And I'm just going to line my tight line with this because I'm not going to be putting an eyeliner on top of my lash line, and I still want to make sure that my lash line looks nice and thick, and this is a really great way to do it. And using a dark brown is actually my favorite because it looks way more natural than using a black, and it's a little bit softer as well. So the final touch for the eyes is going to be the mascara. Now I actually had a ton of you guys recommend the Essence Lash Princess Mascara. I have the volume one and the false lash effect one, both here. And now I'm going to go ahead and apply this to my lashes, and let's see what type of look it gives them. So that's what the volume mascara looks like on its own. I'm now going to go in with the false lash effect Lash Princess Mascara. Let's see what that looks like layered on top. I find that it's just lacking a little bit of an extra something. I'm not really sure what it is, but I definitely don't hate it. So I'm just gonna do the same thing on my other eye. I'm also gonna go ahead and do my brows because I almost forgot to do that, and scrape off this mascara that's on my eyelid and the mascara that's going to be on this eyelid, and then I will be right back to finish off this look with some lips. So I just finished off my eyes. I also added a little bit of like a half lash. I was sort of just feeling it today. You guys know I never ever wear lashes, or at least very rarely do wear lashes, but I don't know. I felt like the look was really, really simple and called for a little extra glam. These are the Eyeshadow Nebula lashes, and I cut them in half. So as for lip products, this was probably the hardest category for me to choose recommendations from you guys, just because everything was sort of all over the place. There really wasn't one product that everybody was recommending. They were very like scattered. So I did get a few options that I figured I would show you guys today. So I got several recommendations to try the Bare Minerals Gen Nude liquid lipsticks from Twitter. Both Brittany and Shelby suggested them. So because I didn't really know what type of look I was going to be creating, I wanted to get two very different options. So XYZ is more of like a neutral nude. So here's what it looks like. Really, really nice, more of like a deep nude. And then the second shade that I got is definitely a little bit more bold. This is the shade Fire, and it is a bright orangey red. So I was really, really drawn towards this shade. It's funny because this also would give a little bit of a monochromatic look, since it is quite similar to the eyeshadow that we have on our eyes. So those are the two Bare Minerals liquid lipsticks. So C from Twitter also suggested that I try out Nude Sticks Whisper. She says that it's her all-time favorite nude, the perfect tone, and a beautiful, comfortable formula. Now that I think of it, I actually may already have this in my collection. The formula isn't completely matte. It does have a little bit of a sheen to it, and is also really comfortable to wear. It's one of their lip and cheek pencils. Another recommendation that I got is from Steph, and she says that she loves MAC lipstick in Honey Love, her everyday staple. It's her lips are better and comfortable to wear. I have actually never tried Honey Love, and I do know that this is a very popular MAC shade, so I was really excited to pick it up. This is actually quite similar to Whisper from Nude Sticks. Oh no, not exactly. Honey Love is a little bit more peach, but they are really similar. And then the last recommendation that I got from you guys is for a Maybelline lipstick, and Erin from Twitter says Maybelline Matte Lipstick in Daringly Nude. I picked one up. Very similar to everything else, but it's slightly more pink. That is so weird. I totally didn't even realize how similar all these colors were. So I'm going to use MAC Honey Love because I just feel like it's going to go with the eyes really nicely. But I'm first going to line my lips with Whirl. So here is what the final look looks like. So now that I'm looking at it, I feel like I want to put a little bit of like a dark shadow on my lower lash line, just because with the lashes, I feel like it looks a little bit top heavy. Because we only have a very light gold on our lower lash line, it looks a little bit unbalanced. So I'm going to take Cypress Umber from Anastasia, which is that matte brown, one of my favorites in the palette. And I'm just gonna run that along my lower lashes. So the gold is more so just gonna be on like the waterline and not on the lower lash line. Now you guys can see what I'm talking about when I say that like things need to be balanced, because look how much better that looks. And I even find the gold pops even more because there's more contrast between it. Right? Am I right? So here is the finished look. We are all done, and I gotta say I am so happy that I did this challenge, like genuinely. I'm so excited about all the products that I used today, specifically the base products, like every single one, the foundation, the primers, the powder, even the blush and the bronzer. I really hope that you enjoyed today's video and that you found it entertaining and helpful. Please let me know all of your thoughts in the comments. Of course, give this video a big thumbs up, and of course subscribe if you're not subscribed already. And thank you guys so much to everybody who participated in today's video. It was so much fun to do, and I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.